Malanga, near the town of waterfall Boffen, above the waterfall. Thanks to Michael Tellinger here, we are able to witness beautiful ruins, stone circles of South Africa. In the last 11 years, and now it's January of 2019, he has been discovering, researching, cleaning, maintaining and promoting this stone circle phenomenon around the world. And this is very important because we are trying to bring to the light things that have been forgotten and neglected by the conventional science. Using his terminology, we talk about the stone circles, about the stone channels, and about the stone terraces. Stone circles, the same like crop circles, are not really just circles. It is too simple. Crop circles, for example, in 1960s, 1970s, they were as simple as circles, but nowadays they have become very complex language of communication with very profound messages to humanities. The same thing here. We have the stone circles on the outside looking 2D. 3D, they are actually stone spheres. The next thing, again 2D, on the inside we can see more circles, and we can see the connections between them, and actually we can start seeing the elements of sacred geometry. The most powerful elements of sacred geometries when it comes to geometrical shapes are circle, and pyramids, and squares, hexagonal shapes. The most powerful numbers, number pi, 3.14, golden section, 1.618. And when you have elements of sacred geometry, like on many sites, Egypt, Cambodia, Peru, Mexico, Bosnia, what happens? You amplify natural energy sources. And this is not the thing that they've been teaching us in school, ever, for several reasons. Those who know, very small number, the elites, they don't want the truth out. Those who are supposed to know and teach us, archeologists, geologists, historians, anthropologists, museum curators, they don't know. Nobody's been teaching them about that. When we think about the energy in the universe, not only on this planet, it is always about the energy, how to get it, how to amplify it, so we can progress in our lives. Back to stone circles, the one that we are in right now. It looks like rather well preserved. In reality, it is badly damaged. The rare sections, like maybe this one here, which is about 2.5 meters in height, witnessed how the whole ruin looked like at the original times. Everything else has been destroyed intentionally, either by people, mechanization, or by weather elements. Those ruins have been here for a very, very long time. And during those times, this planet has been witnessing a lot of global catastrophes. Just yesterday, we had a hail here, bad storm, and events like that really are ruining what's been left from the past. From the construction standpoint of view, let's analyze this particular ruin. We have 2.5 meter original height. The thickness, it can be seen here, the thickness of the walls is about 1 meter. The third element which is necessary to figure out the mass is the length. So if we follow the outer circle, which I did a few days back, it was 167 meters. So in order to calculate the mass, what you do, you multiply the length, 167, by the width, it is 1, so it is 167 square meters. times height. You multiply with the height, 167 by 2.5, you are getting 417 cubic meters. Now the next step, of course, is to get the specific weight of this material. It is about 2.2, so 117 times 2.2 is 918 tons. So this outer circle is over 900 tons of material. Now which material? Now we can see the stones. Those stones, if you take them individually, they are not very impressive. 20 kilos, 50 kilos, 200 kilos. Some of them, especially foundation stones on this and some other sites, are reaching 500 kilos, maybe even 700 kilos. And they still do not qualify to be called megaliths. Megalithic blocks are usually 1 ton up. However, when you have 918 tons, it is rather impressive. And then when we take into consideration the inner structures, inner circles and the walls that connect those circles, we are getting 280 meters in length. Again, when we multiply with the depth or width and the height, the number is 560 cubic meters times 2.2, it's about 1100 tons. 1100 here, 917 there, it is more than 2000 tons, just this structure alone. So if it was just one structure in the territory of South Africa, that would still be not very impressive. 2000 tons, yes, but you could assign this to almost a tribal level. However, next to this one, just below us, is another stone circle, another 700-800 tons. Below that, another one. Above here, the other day, Michael was cleaning with his cleanup crew, another structure which is much bigger than this one. That one is between 5,500 and 6,000 tons. All of a sudden, in a very small area, we have more than 10,000 tons. Now today we witness the process which has been going on for the last 6-7 decades. That the local paper company, which is actually huge, even on a global relation, they've been clearing the complete area. Now we are talking about thousands and thousands of hectares. Clearing from everything, including the stone circles. So most probably now we are talking about 10,000 or tens of thousands, but millions of tons of material just in this area here. So when you take all other areas that Mike has been sharing with us in the last 11 years, we are talking about maybe hundreds of millions of tons of construction material. Now this is not a joke anymore. This is not the tribal level who can have such a huge construction field. You have to have social organization and very good reason to do that. In archaeology we have 5 questions. What? What is this? Well, we gave it the name stone circles or even stone circle complex, which really does not define very well what we have here. The second question is who? The answer is we do not know who. The third question is when. Again, based on the lack of the evidence, organic materials, tools and so on, we do not know when. We can get some indirect information which will tell us this is the minimum age. Like Michael was saying today, based on that fossilized trees, it's definitely more than 600-700 years. Based on the work of Dravids here 3,000 years ago, it's more than 3,000 years. How many years? At this point, hard to say. The fourth question is how? One circle, for example, the one over there, it would be rather easy to explain. Anybody can do that in 10 days or in 1 month. But to explain the whole complex in South Africa, there is no good explanation for that. And finally, the question, why? What was the purpose? Since conventional science completely neglects this phenomenon here in South Africa, we need to start thinking and try to compare with other sites all over the world. We can see some of the stones with very specific sound. Sometimes they do not really sound like the stone with almost no sound at all, but they have special sound properties. Another place with such sound properties is, for example, Chichen Itza, the Mayan city on Yucatan Peninsula. When the Europeans came, most of those walls were in bad shape. So while they were reconstructing those walls, using the same stones the Mayan used, they could see the special properties. You are standing on one end, you are talking with the lower voice, you can be heard 150 meters easily. But if you try to use any other stones, it does not happen. So it seems that we have similar phenomenon here, that builders were choosing carefully the stones, they're going to be part of those structures. Now, the next thing. I mentioned that everything in our life is about the energy. Let's see how many energy phenomena we have below us. For example, people often talk about the ley lines. And we know that, especially in southern England, where extensive research has been done, many sacral constructions are built on those lines. They run straight, very often north, south, east, west. And the ancients knew that those ley lines were very powerful energetical lines. Now, we cannot really hear what is the origin. The origin is actually cosmic origin. Cosmic origin creating those straight energy lines. That's one phenomenon. The second one, underground water flows. When water moves, it releases the energy. For us humans, if we, for example, have a bedroom above underground water flow, we're going to get sick. That's a bad energy for us. However, there are the ways how we can neutralize negative and transform it to the positive energy. The most efficient way is to make a stone circle. Stone circle neutralizes negative, transform it to positive. If you have more stone circles, then it amplifies positive energy now. The next one, energy lines called Hartmann lines or Hartmann grids. Hartmann grids are the lines. They're about 30 centimeters. They also run underground. They go exactly east-west and north-south. Every 2 meters by 2.5 meters, they intersect. If you have those intersections, you're standing there, again, bad energy for us. How do you neutralize? Either the stone circle or the megalith. You put the megalith there, it neutralizes the whole area. Now imagine the stone circle complex that encompasses South African continent. It would basically neutralize all this area from the negative influences. The next lines, called Schneider's lines, they run diagonally, 45 degrees to Hartmann grids. Curie's lines. So now we realize there are many energetical lines. And true enough, our planet is actually a huge energy ball. And energy runs. The most powerful energy flows are north-south and east-west. When the ancients built pyramids, for example, 3 of the most powerful geometrical shapes, what they would do for our planet, the most powerful geometrical shape of the pyramid is 4-sided pyramid. That's why we have them such in Egypt, in China, in Peru, in Bosnia, Mauritius, and so on. Well, you perfectly oriented, it automatically initiates movement of the energy within the pyramids. So everything for the ancients was about the energy. We have forgotten that knowledge, unfortunately. The ancients knew much better our planet and what's happening below, so they could get certain effect on the surface. So now, imagine, when we add that second element that Michael mentioned, the channels. The channels are actually like a roads. On 2 sides of the roads, you have those stone walls. Let's call them dry walls. As a matter of fact, everything we see here is a dry wall. Wall, because it is made from the stone. Why dry? No cement, no binding material. So this is really a series of millions and millions of drywalls put in certain orders, making certain geometrical shapes. Why? To amplify the energies. Applying elements of sacred geometry to amplify the energies. You got quartz crystal to amplify the energies. So when you have those channels, imagine you have one little energy machine with the channels you are connecting to another one, another one, another one, and all of a sudden you have a system that encompasses all of the South Africa, from black, equatorial, down. So if our eyesight is a little bit larger, we can see on a larger scale than what we can. Looking from the above, it will be like huge energy grid, probably flashing for some of us. So why do you need energy? For everything. For communication, for healing, to improve the quality of the water, quality of food, to improve our spiritual senses, to improve our chakra system, putting it back into the balance, our auric fields, literally for anything. More energy, you can diminish huge catastrophes like earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and so on. So in Bosnia, we have probably been pioneering in researching the pyramid energies, and what we have here is actually very, very similar phenomenon, just using different construction pieces. We have those stone circles also amplifying the energy. So out of the 5 questions, I think that we are very close to answer the 5th one, because what Michael was telling today about the healing and some other properties, that's exactly the same line what we have in Bosnia. Ancients were smart. Now, this is not the only place in the world with similar phenomena. Second one is eastern plate of the United States of America. Another phenomenon, which is not called the stone circles because the material was different. They were using the earth in combination with the stone. They are called mounds. Probably the most prominent site is called Cahokia Mounds, where we have the shape of the pyramids. So they are actually the pyramids with the construction material. In the state of Ohio only, today there are 42,000 registered mounds. Originally more than 200,000 of them. The same size. So if you go Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, down to Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana, we are talking about millions of mounds. So somebody has been basically terraforming such huge territories. Again, the shapes, circles, squares, channels, triangles, they were amplifying the energies. So I would say it has nothing to do with any known civilization, and that's the reason why I believe that what we have here is much, much older than anything that we have registered in our past. And finally, when I add my little focus meditation, the information I was getting are basically confirming what I was giving you now through my scientific arguments. That this has been done before the man, as you know, before Homo sapiens. Of course, members of our species are coming in the meantime, much, much, much later, and even one of them Michael mentioned today, Dravidians from southern India. They were coming to places like this. They were thinking, okay, what is the purpose? But they were always applying their own concepts. Like today we apply our concept. They were thinking, okay, let's see if we have something in our symbolism which can match. And then yes, sometimes they would find some shape that would match their symbols. Our problem today, our archaeologists comes, if they see the structure, they want to see the entrance, the windows, the roof. All of that is missing here. So once they don't find it, and then they're making up, purposes and so on. In Ollantaytambo in Peru, 6 huge megalithic blocks brought from Bolivia, 500 tons. No windows, no doors, no roofs. Archaeologists call it unfinished wall. It is not wall, it is not unfinished. We apply our concepts. Most probably, they place it at the place of energetically very powerful place to amplify the energies. And that's what the life is about. The easiest way is what the conventional science does today. They simply close their eyes when witnessing such phenomena. But why don't we use our short lifespan and try to find the real answers? Because we still have some of those stone circles. Tomorrow it will be less and less until they all disappear, thanks to our technologically advanced civilization. Try to understand and try to apply that knowledge of better understanding of the planet than we have today. Try to apply it into our life and try to find some answers, because we are going in the wrong direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samira.
Yes, sir.
Stop.
Stop.